All right. Here with Coach Carreker, Rocky Carreker from Columbus East.
Yes.
How'd you get into the sport?
Actually, my cousin, he suggested that I should get into wrestling. I was one of them backyard wrestling kids because I was a football guy, and he just felt that I would be a good wrestler. So he introduced me to Robert Cecily, and it was history from there.
You wrestled at Columbus Beechcroft, right?
Yes.
So, and now at East, what are some of the challenges that you come across that from the outside people just don't know about?
As a coach, just the kids buying into the sport. I have to be a salesman. I gotta, convince kids of why wrestling to be good. How it will impact their lives and the other sports that they may be involved in.
So that's a tough sell, but talk to me about facilities.
Yeah, it's tough. We don't have a wrestling room. We've went all through the school. Try to look for different classrooms that may be suitable to be converted into a room, but so it makes it tough. We have to travel, to different schools just to get, a decent practice in, get the wrestling room filled, get a good sweat going, things like that. So the environment makes it tough.
How many holes did you have in the lineup this year?
We had a lot. On my boys' team, we had finished the season with about 5 guys.
5 out of 14 weight classes.
Yes, sir.
You had some females wrestling.
Yes.
It's a bright spot. You had,
yeah.
How many did you have?
That was probably, other than Amar, that was probably, the best aspect of the season. Having 4 girls compete at the state tournament this year.
I assume they'll be back?
Oh, yes. We're going to be doing some off-season work this summer, things like that. So definitely going to be back.
So you end the season with 5 kids on the team.
Yes.
And Amar is a great example, you've already mentioned, of what you feel wrestling has done for him. What's it doing for the other kids on the team? What is wrestling doing at Columbus East High School?
Yeah, wrestling is a lot. It does a lot. Within my coaching, I teach life lessons. I tell them when life comes at you, you can't run from it. You got to hit it head on. So no matter how tough practice is, you can't just say, oh, I quit, because the life lesson in that is, if you got a kid, and your kid is dependent on you, you can't quit your job. You have to deal with all the tough things that come along with that job, and that's, what wrestling does. Is wrestling is not only a physical sport, but it's a mental sport. It's one of the toughest sports, I think, out right now. So to be able to get through a full season, you can get through life, just because of the toughness that, wrestling brings to the table, the mental toughness.
Okay. So seems like coaching, especially in a Columbus school where there's limited resources, is a bit of a thankless job. Why do you do what you do?
I've had opportunities to go, elsewhere, but I was one of these city kids. I grew up in the same neighborhoods, dealt with some of the same issues and lack thereof, so it's almost like, kind of like my give back. I have a skill that I can pass down to, some of the kids that had some of the same unfortunate situations as I did growing up. So it's a passion of mine to do, work with kids like me.
If you could wake up tomorrow and everything's fixed, not just your program, but wrestling in general, city wrestling in general, what would you do to fix it?
That's tough, but I would just find a way to get the kids involved. I was speaking with some other coaches. They have to have community service hours in order to graduate. We've talked about, being involved in an extracurricular activity, whether it's doesn't matter what sport, wrestling, basketball, football, you know, and be able to earn your community service hours by participating in the sport, you know, give kids different, you know, incentives, you know, to be involved. You know, just kids are just not involved anymore, so just give them different incentives to, you know, want to be involved, because once they're involved, you know, everything else goes from there. You know, they'll be, you know, have somebody on them about their grades, you know, the coaches, you know, we have grade checks, you know, and once the kid is involved, they fall in love with it, you know, and then once they're in love with it, they're going to do whatever is necessary to continue to be eligible to play. So you get improvement in grades, you know, by being involved. You know, you have a sense of, you know, of being a part of something. You know, it's like an extended family, you know, because that's what, you know, sports and team does, you know, gives you another sense of family.
Well, I think it's very fitting that you mentioned the word family, because you're here today.
Yes,
you're
sir.
trying to help further a young man's career, and something tells me, Coach, that you would do it for any of the kids you come in contact with.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, this is my passion, is working with the kids. You know, my payback is, you know, getting a kid like Amar, you know, to the next level. You know, he told me at one point he had no aspirations of college, you know, and wrestling has given him, you know, the want to go to the next level. You know, he wants to be the first college graduate of his family. You know, that's my give back. That's my reward. You know, so, and yes, I do that for any kid, you know, that I work with.
So you mentioned Amar. He's your 106 pounder. He's a sectional champ, a district champ, a 3-time city champ.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a little bit of history, a lot of history with it, actually.
Yes.
Because he goes all the way back to '66.
Yes, sir.
The last time Columbus East had a district champ, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Amar.
Amar, he's a great kid. You know, he's probably one of the hardest workers I've coached so far. You know, I'll get to practice and he's already got the team warming up. You know, he's not one of the ones I have to stay on top of, you know, but I stay on top of him anyway, you know, make sure grades are first, you know, so, you know, that's one thing that I stay on top of the kids about. And I mean, he does what he does what he needs to do in the classroom. He gets things done, and he's just a natural leader.
As far as wrestling goes, you've sat in the corner now and watched and been witness and coached. What are some of the intangibles that he's going to bring to the mat when he steps on that mat at the next level?
I mean, he's a natural born leader. You know, he listens well. You know, he trains hard, and you know, whoever you know gets him, they're getting a diamond in the rough. You know, he's only been doing this 3 years, and everything he's accomplished, you know, in these 3 years. There's some kids been wrestling since they were 5 years old and don't get some of the accomplishments he's done. So I can only imagine, you know, where he's going to be with further training, further, you know, as he gets, you know, as he goes further into the sport.
Fast forward to that graduation day with the tassel and gown and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any doubt in your mind that Amar's going to make it?
Oh, not at all. You know, just seeing from where he came from to where he is now, you know, I see a completely different kid. You know, he's more focused. You know, he knows what he wants, and once he sets a goal, you know, he's going to reach it. You know, nothing's going to stop him. You know, if I tell him to run through the wall because it's going to be, you know, bright behind it, he's going to try to get through that wall by any means necessary. So, you know, he's dedicated, you know, so there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be turning that tassel.
Well, I'm looking forward to it myself, just getting to know you guys here over the last little bit. I want to say thank you.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of people that don't thank you enough, I'm sure, for what it's worth. Do you have anything else for us?
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for, you know, helping us with this to, you know, get exposure for Amar. And like I said, looking forward to working with whoever is willing to work with us.
What's the best way to get a hold of you, Coach?
You can get through me through email at Coach Rocky C. That's Coach Rocky, ROCKY, the letter C, at gmail.com. Or you can call me directly with my cell phone at 614-554-8115.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you.